Good morning. You'll see some faces from our other partners joining the call, but we will also be emailing this out because there are so many people that would love to join, but their schedule doesn't allow it or just schedule conflicts. And so we want to make that available to them. So I'll go ahead and let us get started to respect your time and everybody's time here. Rachel's going to lead the conversation, and Francesca, it's just so great to see you. I am so excited to get to hear from you this morning myself and to be able to talk about the incredible work that you're doing and how much it means to us and what a privilege it is just to stand alongside you. So Rachel, I'll let you lead us along.
Wonderful. Well, Francesca, we're so excited that you're here. It's just an honor. You have been, since the first time I met you, just someone that has stood out to me as an incredible person who has just truly given your life to something that you believe in. I have so much respect for
Thank you.
you. So thank you for
Thank you.
being here. Can you just kind of tell our partners that are on the call or who will be watching it later, can you paint the picture for us of who Namelok is, like as an organization, and what the need is? So why do you exist as an organization?
Okay, I put some points that I can explain to you about Namelok. And Namelok Narrator basically is a community-based organization which was started in 1991. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's supporting children with disabilities, especially those children who have been neglected, hidden, and in our community, many children with disabilities are not very much loved because of the kind of the way the people think about persons with disabilities. So as we were going around the community, we found that there are so many children who are hidden and they did not get the opportunity to healthcare, proper education, and especially corrective surgeries. So we thought that there was a need to help and support this kind of children through medical rehabilitation to get to be able to be also to be independent as just like any other children. And before that, it made us to think that we have to change the attitude of the community. There was that attitude that disability is because of a curse, because of a witchcraft. And this is why so many children were found to be hidden and suffered a lot in the villages. And remember that Namelok Narrator is situated in a very remote and rural local area where we don't access any opportunities to healthcare. There is no access. The roads are bad. There is no internet, and it is very difficult for any of their relatives even to be able to reach areas where there is any opportunity for medical care. So in this case, when Namelok came up, we saw that these children are also important children in the community. And Namelok took the initiative to be able to break out the stigma which prevailed the whole in the parents, and to be able to help these children to have a better life. That's what made the Namelok to have the attachment of disabled children and to give them an opportunity to medical and education, rehabilitation and education. to ensure that children receive the health care they needed and have the opportunity to attend school. So actually, this is what made Namelok to come up. And through awareness creation, we made a lot of awareness creation to the community to understand, to be able to understand that these are children just like any other child. These are God created human beings, and they need to live and they need to be supported. That's what made Namelok come in and start helping and supporting these children. Do you hear?
Yeah. So I know you kind of touched on it there, but when you first started, and Namelok was founded in 91, is that right? 1991?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Namelok was,
No, go ahead.
Namelok was founded in 1991, but Namelok, we only had to go to the villages. We did not have Namelok Narito. By that time, we didn't have any buildings. We were only going around to the villages. But actually, Namelok home was started in 2004. That's when we had requested for having a building to be able to get these children together and serve them properly. Yeah.
Okay.
Francesca, can I jump in just really quickly because to ask a question on that? Because when it was started in 91, it was you together with a Dutch gentleman who was a priest, right? Who
Yes.
who saw the need and recognized strength and courage in you to help bring about this change in the community. But from your perspective at that time, when this was a culture that you two were familiar with and had been raised in, and there had been this norm where children with disabilities were, as you said, seen as a curse. The children were used as child laborers or even killed at times. With that belief. So, what was it, do you think, in you that recognized something that was wrong and felt like this huge cultural shift could happen? Like that, how do you even begin to change that? What was it in you, do you think, that helped you to be able to see it differently and believe that you could help others to see that truth about their essential worth and the way they're created by God too?
Okay. When we started first, as I said, I had a research. I did a research or field work to identify these children. And before we could do anything, we had to create the awareness within the community. Yes. Through identifying was not easy. To identify these children was not very easy. It was a hard job because the community didn't want to be exposed, especially the parents or relatives of these children. They really thought, what are you going to do with our children? We don't want them to be exposed because the rest of the people or the rest of the other people in the community will look at them as they are cursed. So later on, we went and started creating awareness and reaching the community through workshops and seminars and leadership to tell them that this is not a curse. Neither is it a witchcraft. And for the first, what we did first is we supported the first children. We wanted for them to realize that afterward, these children will be okay and they'll just be normal as any other children. So we took the first children who had very big, actually their problems were very severe. One of them was a girl, and the girls, especially girls, are not really in the Maasai community. The girls, they don't like girls so much. They feel that the girls are just as a resource of getting married and getting dowry and so forth. So we took the first girl to the hospital, and the surgery of this girl was very expensive. And the first doctor, the doctor who was there, said he will do it free because he knows that most of the Maasai girls, if they are not supported, they will die. They will be left to die. So he said he'll do it free, and then she can be an example to the rest of the people, the community. So the surgery was very successful. After the surgery, that's how the other people, the people within the community, saw that, oh, this can happen. So even children with disabilities can be okay. And we brought that child and took her to school. And the parent of this girl who had divorced her mother, because usually in the Maasai community, when you have a child with a disability, they always think the mother is the one who has something is wrong with her. So the father always detaches himself from this family, and he leaves the mother or divorces the mother. So, or even tell the mother to kill the child, or even tell the mother to give the child away. So in most cases, you'll find that most of these disabled children are given to the old grandmothers because their parents, their original fathers don't want them. It's either he tells the mother you'll divorce, or she gives away the child to a grandmother. So because most of the time these children stay with the grandmothers, and grandmothers do not know what to do with these children. They just leave them lying there, or until when the child maybe dies, or when she gets maybe somebody to take over. So during that during our identification, when we were identifying the children, we created a lot of awareness to the community after the first children were supported. And now the community could realize that there is a need for these children to be supported, or these children to get an opportunity to medical rehabilitation. And looking into it, that in the area that we are in, people cannot even afford to go to the hospital. They don't even know whether there is any hospital that would be able to support these children to be better. So when Namelok came up to start supporting and helping these children to get opportunities in the medical rehabilitation for surgeries and corrective surgeries, now for many years, we did not have to go and look for the children anymore. The kids were identified and they were brought to Namelok when they find that there is a child with a disability. So that's how we find that Namelok has grown up, because from the early, as we were going to the villages, until the time that we were not going to the villages anymore, Namelok has been realized and many people are identifying now the children and bringing to Namelok to ask for support and corrective surgeries.
It's amazing. We feel like we've shared this before, but in the work that you've done, like you've seen within your own culture, like you've seen a shift, right? Of so much of what you were doing at first with going door to door and helping to identify was really just kind of battling that cultural mindset that these children, as you said, were cursed, or whatever the belief might have been. To now that's not something that you have to do, right? Like you're not going door to door anymore, and now people bring kids to you. That's amazing, Francesca, that you've seen just like that shift within the culture.
And also the culture. This we have changed the attitude within the community of looking into children with disabilities as though they are not human beings. Now they all they are all integrated together with other children, and they are supported. Their parents have come, they are supporting them, and they are seeing them as normal as any other child who needs to be cared for. And in society, they are also given opportunities, even to land. In the cases that we have land demarcations, now they have realized that even persons with disabilities have to own land. So they are giving them land as any other persons and any other opportunities that are come up. So for us, it has become, we have seen a big change within the culture of the Maasai culture, from the rigid culture until now, how you can, that all these children are associated together with the others, and loved and important. And examples of the children that we have assisted, some of them have been from medical rehabilitation. They have gone to school, they have got an education. They are even, but they have got jobs. So they have come back to help their communities.
That's amazing.
So
yeah, and so when you identify one of these children, you take them to receive surgeries if needed, right? And then you help them with the rehabilitation process. And then from
yes,
there, they can stay in the Namelok Center and receive an education. Is that correct?
yes.
As far as the whole process?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there an example of one of the children that you could tell us about?
I have a girl, one of the girls called Ikanga. This girl had polio, severe polio. Ikanga was brought to us when she was 10 years old. She was identified by some people in the community, and they called us to go and see. She was one of the girls who was her polio was so severe that she was jumping like she was using her hands and knees to walk. She couldn't get up, she couldn't stand. She could only crawl on her hands and feet. So when we took Ikanga to a medical, to the hospital to see a surgeon or medical practitioner, the doctor said, this girl, we might not know whether she will, her surgery will be successful, but we'll see we'll just try and see what happens. And luckily, miracles happened because she was overgrown, but they did a very successful surgery, and Iganga could get. It was a long term surgery, took a long time until she was able to walk, and they gave her prosthesis for walking and crutches and a lot of physiotherapy. And yeah, up to now, if you Rikanga, after as her long procedures of medical rehabilitation, she was able to join school. And after her primary school, she joined a college. We took her to a college, a training to train on knitting. And after her training in knitting, we managed to buy her a knitting machine. And now Iganga is independent, using the knitting machine as an income generating activity. And since she was abandoned to her grandmother, she's now supporting her grandmother, who is old, and taking care of her. She's the one taking care of her old grandmother, who was taking care of her in the rest of her life. So that's how that is one successful story of a girl who had severe disability. Iganga is independent. She's not married, but she's independent. She's doing her work. She has a small house. She has a small plot, And now she's working on her own. Yeah.
That's really a beautiful story.
Yeah.
By Namelok. Yeah.
Yeah, that's incredible. And you know, I think we talk about this sometimes in the work that we do, the generational impact that that has for her life, you know, of her siblings and family members and culturally and just seeing what the opportunities that she now has and just valuing her. That's really amazing. And something that I know we said you're really remote, but just to kind of paint the context, the closest hospital, the hospital where you take the kids the most for surgery is in Kajabi. Is that right? Still, so
Yes.
that's about a
Yeah.
6 hour car ride. Um, and it's
Not a normal car
not,
ride. I think
yeah. My first time going, Jennifer and I went for the first time together many years ago. And Francesca, do you remember that car ride? With John and Leia, and we broke down multiple times along the way. I mean, it's of course not paved roads, and Francesca's finding people to try to fix the car. And then I think we ultimately, you found a guy, and we ended up getting in his car, and you paid him to drive us. But we eventually made it. I mean, but roads get flooded, and it's not an easy journey. It's one that Francesca does all
It's
the
not
time,
easy. It's not
but
easy.
it's
Yeah. The roads are, when it rains, we can hardly make it. It's a journey that we start, we make when we're going to Kijabe Hospital, it's 2 days. 2 days. We have to come the first from my place up to Narok and spend the night there. And then the following day, we have to go to Kijabe. In Kijabe, we spend the whole day and then go back to Narok and spend the night. And then the following day, it's about 3 days that journey. It's not easy because the roads are bad. It's far away. And, you know, when it rains, you can imagine, sometimes we sleep on the way with the kids on the road. Or when the car breaks down, then it's not easy. We have to call a mechanic, and really it is not easy. It's a sacrifice that we do to make sure this is that children have this opportunity.
yeah.
And I think just I guess to reiterate that for those of us who that's not something that we have, either ever experienced or do as a norm in the way that you do, I think it can't be emphasized enough, just the intensity and stress of that. I think even from the perspective of if you've got a child who just had surgery or who has a disability that causes any physical pain, if you've ever ridden, and if any of us have ever ridden in a car with somebody who's had a broken bone, every little bump on the road hurts because of that
Yeah.
jolt. We are talking about like the region is really out in the bush area. So it is not an easy ride, just even physically. And you add to that somebody who's already got physical stress on their body, and that you're in the position of caretaker, which means you feel the stress of that too. And I know when my son and I were there, just in the shorter drive from the small airstrip, the closest airstrip out to Namelok, when we all arrived, one of the kids in the truck had been sick to his stomach just with the terrain, and so been sick in the truck, and you've usually got several people in there, and so getting them out and getting everybody cleaned up, and that was just a norm. Like there wasn't even a strong reaction to that among the kids. They were used to that, and but just to paint the picture for everybody of what it is that you are doing when you carry a child from there for these important surgeries for their healing, it's even that in and of itself, the journey itself is a journey. So
Mhm. Yeah, it's quite
Yeah.
amazing.
Mm.
I would love for you, Francesca, to talk a little bit about, so we've kind of, told the history of Namelok, but in the past 10 years, you guys have
Yes.
added a new component to what you do, with reaching out to young girls in a female awareness program. So can you tell us about that and what made you decide to add that piece to the work that you already were doing?
Okay. You know that I love working with my community. And what made me love to work with the community is, first of all, a lady who has grown in this community and a lot of challenges. I had a lot of challenges, especially myself, during my my youth. And when I went to school, I also had a lot of challenges. And one of my brothers was going to marry me away and to leave school and marry, give me into a husband give me a husband so that he can get dowry. And when I managed to walk out of that and I got an education, I was rescued by friends. I realized that it's very, very important to have an education for girls. When I started working within my community, I realized that many girls were dropping out of school due to early marriages, pregnancies, I mean teenage pregnancies, and FGM. A Maasai girl undergoes a lot of pain and a lot of difficulties in life. So because I was myself rescued and I had an education and I saw that it's very important for girls to go to school instead of being married out to an old man or not given an opportunity to have your own freedom of life, of choice in life. I thought that these girls also needed to have we needed to change this kind of life that is in the community. So this is what made me feel that girls are important, and since they really, I know that they say if you educate a girl, you educate a whole family. But if you educate the whole community. But if you educate a man, you educate a family. So I said, through the awareness we've been having, we've been creating awareness on education and mentor the young girls. We have mentorship for the girls in schools. We've been going into the schools to mentor the girls and to actually talk to the leaders, talk to the parents, talk to the community, that girls are not just object of being married to get dowry, but they are also people who can help the society. They are also important that they can bring even more dowry when they have an education. But they can be people who will change their communities. So they should be realized to be given an opportunity to education. So this is how Namelok started working with the girls, because when we were doing the awareness, so many girls really felt that they needed the education, but they don't have the opportunity because they have also to respect their parents. They have to respect their culture. And that's why they don't have the power. They don't have the empowerment to refuse and say no to the practices that the parents want. So we started receiving a few girls who ran after the awareness. It changed them a lot. So there were some girls when the parents were trying to give them out or trying to marry them or trying to do the FGM, they ran for rescue. So that's how we started having the first two girls who ran to rescue to Namelok with the that they needed to continue with their education and not to get married or not to have FGM. With the support of with the government assistant county commissioner, we were able to rescue these girls, and also you are able to talk to the parents to stop that kind of practice and give the girls to go to school. Mm. So the parents were scared of the government, so they did not come to take the girls again. But in the real sense, you find that most of these girls are very, very vulnerable. And most of them, if you look into it, why they wanted to marry them away. First of all, the family is poor and they didn't have enough money or enough cattle to send this girl to school. So what they thought is, we better get a dowry from the girl and be able to educate a boy. So many girls don't go to school because their parents want to get cows or cattle in order to give a chance for a boy to go to school. With our awareness and the dreams of those girls, we have changed the community now to have realized the few girls who have gone to school, they have come back to the community. They are bringing more, they have got the job and they are bringing more dowry than men. And this is now something that the community has accepted and is accepting more girls to go to school. So that's what made Namelok. Wow. And up to now, we are still giving a going around, because it's not we cannot reach everybody. Mm-hmm. But the few we are reaching, the community surrounding, they have changed their attitude of girls, marrying girls away, but instead giving them to get education. I also gave an example of myself. I've always been giving, and many of them say is a role model that have changed the community. And after my education, when I refused to get married, after my education, I am able to come back to my community and work within our people and change the life of many girls. Mm. So I'm a role model, and I feel girls should be given a chance to education.
Mm. Amazing. I kind of have the same question that Naomi had earlier about what experience did you have, like the beliefs that you have about girls, for instance, or the kids with physical disabilities are so, they're so strong and they're so passionate and they're incredible. But was there something that like that happened for you, or maybe it was just your own personal experience, but was there something that kind of cultivated that within you? Because in some ways it seems like your beliefs are they're radical for what was the cultural norm. So how did that come to be?
Before you answer, Francesca, if I can just add on to what Rachel said, because for those, Rachel, maybe for those who might not know, when she's referencing FGM, could you briefly summarize that for people for whom that might be helpful for the context?
Yes, yeah. I made a note of that too when you said that. So FGM is female genital mutilation.
Genital mutilation, yes. FGM is female. Yeah?
Yeah, you can explain if you want to. Yeah.
No, it's okay. It's female genital mutilation. That is removing the part of a woman, cutting a cut, a very important part of the woman.
And it's a cultural belief, right? That for a woman to be married, she has to go through that circumcision process. And it's, of course, painful. There are a lot of health risks associated with it. And the health risks are one of the things that weren't very well understood by that culture, and part of what you have provided education for, I believe. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They believe that unless you undergo circumcision, you cannot get married. That's what the Maasai believe. So for a long time, it has trended into the girls that if you don't get circumcised, then you don't get a husband. But then so many of our girls now go to school, educated in other parts of the country, other parts of the world, and they find that FGM, female mutilation, is not an important thing. We find that even many girls suffer when they get married because their husbands will have to leave them and get another wife because the Maasai girls have undergone female mutilation, which is they will not enjoy themselves. They will not. It's part that has been removed, that they don't enjoy the act of a man. So that's why even in our community, many men continue getting married. It's a cultural practice, but they never knew that it's deeply. They want to keep women, just keep them, that they don't move to search for other men. But men are very selfish because when the women are just kept there to give birth, just to give birth and give birth and give birth. But afterwards, when they find that they don't have the enjoyment themselves, they get married to another one. When they find she's not meeting the needs, they get married. So that is a cultural that has been there a long time. We have now changed that girls, they have themselves, they don't, other girls who have undergone mutilation are even coming to change the other girls. Like, for example, I have my daughters who have not undergone the cultural mutilation, and they are married. So that's what they are making them to say that you'll be an outcast, because if you don't undergo female mutilation, you are an outcast, you don't get married, and so forth. But because we are also Maasais, we bring our own daughters. They have got education. They have not undergone any female mutilation, and they are married. So it is something that is changing now. Their girls are realizing that they have been missing something. They are cheated and they don't want to undergo that painful. It's a very painful and cruel act to the girls.
And it's a procedure that's illegal in Kenya as well, right?
It's illegal in Kenya now, but still practiced within the rural and the remote parts of the country. So right now, in our area, they are hiding. They hide a lot because they are not, they cannot be exposed anymore, not like before. They have to hide it, but it's becoming less. As I say, we've been doing a lot of awareness, and they are scared because when we hear somebody is doing the mutilation, we report to the government. So when we report to the government, they'll be sued. So it's something that has been hidden, but it's really changed with the awareness that we've been creating. It has completely, we are almost thinking it is finished, although changed completely. There used to be a ceremony, but there's no ceremony anymore because they're not doing. Many people are educated, so they are stopping it. As we continue with educating the community, and find that many parents are educating their girls and boys, now they are stopping. The girls are saying no to mutilation.
Wow.
So it's not anymore a big practice. Yeah, girls are coming up and saying no. Yeah,
Feeling empowered to say no. And they were typically, and just to kind of give more context to it, the practice was happening to young girls, right? Like what would you say is the average age of a young girl that this would be happening, being kind of pulled out of school and then forced into FGM and early marriage?
13 years, 13 years, even 12. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, it's amazing. And Francesca, you've kind of mentioned, but could you tell us a story of, I know you've told me so many stories over the years, but is there any girl that you could tell her story if you felt comfortable doing that of someone that you've supported through this process?
Yeah. I have a rescued girl called Janet. Janet, Janet came to Namelok. She was married when she was 13 years to a very old man of 50 years. Janet, Janet is an orphan. She was living with her elderly brother who thought that Janet should get married so that he can get some cattle or some cows to educate his own sons. So when Janet went to the husband, Janet stayed for 3 months, and the other girls were telling her about Namelok and what Namelok is doing, and that because she's very young, she needs an education. She needs to run away. She needs to leave this, not to live with this old husband who is always, after her. She has not. Uh, Janet felt so. She's feeling so bad living with this guy, but she doesn't know what to do. So actually, because of the kind of education and awareness that we've been, sensitization in the schools, she was told by other girls, run away, go away, don't accept. So Janet ran away during the night. She didn't even fear the animals. She went through a lot of challenges. Going up to Namelo, she looked for where Namelok is, and she came through the office of the county commissioner, assistant county commissioner. When she arrived there, she was brought to us by the county commissioner. We took, we didn't, she was a small girl and covered with the just shukas, sheets, I mean, Masai shukas with a bead, small necklaces and small beads. And when she came in, I asked them what's the problem. She said she doesn't want to get married. She was forced to get married by her elderly brother, and she wants to go to school. I said, but you're big, yeah. She said, can you go to school when you are big? Yeah. She said, yes. I'll change my life. And there she is. We gave her, Janet, we took her to school, gave her an opportunity in education, and she went to school. She finished her primary school, and she went to high school for 2 years, but she decided she wanted to go to a college. She has her potential skills that she wants to portray, and she wants to do something for herself in the near future. So we took her to a training of, she wanted to do cooking. She wanted to do being a chef. She wanted to do food production. So we took her to a college for 3 years, and she managed to be a very good chef. She went to assess for an assessment, and she passed very well. So she got a job. The other day, she got a job in Masai Mara, and now she's working, and she wants to go back and say thank you to Namelok and to show the brother that you wanted me to get married, but now I'll be able to get as a few cows for you just to see that I'm also useful. when I got my education. So there she is. Janet is independent and she's very grateful for what Namelok has done to her. Yeah.
Amazing. It's amazing. And just to tell everyone, the things that Third Ladder supports with Namelok, we support corrective surgeries and the rehabilitation process that goes along with that for 3 children. This is our current grant for this year. And then we have girls in the exact number 16 young girls that we support with scholarships. So these are young girls who
Yes.
have been rescued from that process. And then also Francesca and her team goes into rural schools and does awareness sessions. So she talked about a little bit about that and just kind of changing the mentality. So that's another thing that we
I got
support.
14 schools, I think, for.
Yes, I believe that's right. Yeah, 14 schools. So really just quite amazing the work that you guys are doing, Francesca. I do want to open it up for questions, but I did want to ask you one last question. Just Francesca, for you, you don't get an opportunity very often to sit with people who live on the other side of the world and who don't necessarily understand your work or your world or your culture. What would you like us to know? Like, what is it that if you had the chance to just sit down with one of us for tea, what is it that you would want us to take away from a conversation with you?
Okay. Hmm. I would tell you that behind every curtain, let me see, there could be a face, there could be a child, there could be a mother, there could be a girl, and each of them has a story and a dream. And an incredible potentiality. These girls have a lot of potential. So they have potentials of being great people in the future. When they are given a chance, they have their potential, and they have there's a lot of changes. And what we do at Namelok isn't just a charity. It's about restoring humanity and giving every child a fair chance to lift up lift up and recognize their potentiality. We also think that if you can see the smile of every child and what it takes, their first steps, the pride of a girl when she gets an education, you'll see the returns. The happiness when she gets the opportunity to serve her community. So I would tell people, don't think that every child, every person, every girl who has, when she gets a chance to portray her potentiality, you'll see the benefit of that child. So give that child an opportunity. Give them the right opportunity, the right treatment, and the right education. They'll always give back and be important people in their life. Yeah, sure.
Thank you. Did anyone have any questions? Who's here on the call?
Yeah, this is Stuart. I had a question about the education. Can you talk a little bit about specifically what you do there?
Uh, about what I do?
The kind of education that they get, some of the
Yes,
things you train them in, and some of the things you teach them.
uh, I take them to school. I don't teach them, but I take them to a school where they can get education.
Okay, okay,
Yeah, yeah. I give them an opportunity to have the education that they need.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
So they
Is
do,
supporting them. Yeah,
they
is there
yes.
a, spiritual dimension to what you do?
Come again, please.
Is it do you give them any religious teaching?
Yes. Many of these children are, they are from different denominations. We have the Catholic, we have Christian religion with different church. They come from different churches. So every child, where we live in Namelok, we are living in a Christian community where we go to church every Sunday, and many other pastors come to our facility, praying for these children, praying together, and give sacrifices, a lot of sacrifices to God. Yeah, yes.
Thank you.
And so to tag on to what Stuart was saying, so Francesca, the scholarships, when we talk about the scholarships that Third Ladder is providing for girls that are rescued from FGM and come to Namelok, and that you are providing the opportunity for school, the scholarships are helping to cover the fees in order for them to attend school, right? And so these are schools that are I don't know if this would be the right word to say, they are certified schools. It's not something that's being done um, on the non.
Louis, and then it was looking like going at it, and now they're sleeping here like nothing ever happened.
Oh, so I'm not sure where that's coming from. but but anyway, technology always adds some fun color to conversations. But yes, so the school are happening by educated teachers, certified teachers at local institutions, and then the girls are then prepared for opportunities they can go on for higher education from those schools. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And they've had, like, one of the stories that we received recently from Namelok was a girl. The name we've used is Natana to talk about her, but she was 13 years old, I think, when she came to Namelok, was trying to avoid FGM in marriage, and Namelok intervened and supported her in doing that. And I think for me anyway, like, there's just been this important part of these stories to understand that I think for me, you hear these stories and you feel like, how can a father do something like this? How can a mother do something like this? And it can be, I guess, so easy to stand in a kind of judgment for that when we are so removed from that and we can't possibly understand their circumstances and what has been done to them or taught to them and where they're coming from in that. And this story really highlighted that for me, because part of you guys sharing the story was telling us how when you took Natana in, you took her to school, and there was some tension with the parents. They didn't love that. The plan was to, for her to have FGM, to get married so they could get a dowry and provide for their son's education. And so this was a difficult thing for them to accept. But when Natana went to school, and then she ended up going to university and completed her education, and when she came back, but this then is years, right? That's a very long story that took. But when she came back and her family realized that it was a turning point for the family and the community, because the parents then expressed such sorrow and heartache for what they had planned to do when it came from these, ideas that were steeped in their own understanding, their own cultural understanding of what was right, and in desperation of poverty. And when their eyes were open to that and being able to say, I'm sickened by what I was going to do. And then I now realize this and the value that she has and the opportunities that we should have supported for her to have. That's huge, and I think that's the part where, because when we hear these stories, admittedly for me, you hear so many heartbreaking stories, you can reach a point, I think it's our own heartache or cynicism where you're like, yeah, but how does this change? And it doesn't mean that it doesn't affect this one, but how do we change it like from within? This is how it changes from within because it changed her story. It changed it for Natana. But when her parents had that realization and were able to give voice to that and acknowledge that, then you have this family that's changed and this community that witnesses it. And then the community moves forward from there. And I think that's such a powerful part of this story and of what you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any other questions? So just to briefly summarize, as Rachel said, there's the corrective surgeries that Third Ladder is supporting, the female awareness campaign, which is going into the 14 schools, the scholarships for 16 girls rescued from FGM, and then the fourth thing that we support is a portion of the accountant's salary, and something that has been important to Third Ladder. I think we touched on this briefly too, but when you talk about administrative costs for organizations, those can be things that people immediately feel like, oh, that's not really what we want to participate in. And yet we have really wanted to emphasize the value of that with the programs we support, just even for their own sake, that having the qualified individuals to handle accounting helps the organization operate with integrity, helps it to find continued success, to care for the people and the mission that it so believes in. And so for us, we feel privileged to be able to support the direct program services in that way and scholarships, but also the administrative work for Namelok itself. Francesca, you recently said to us you wanted to change the life for the Messiah girls, and you've done it. And when I read that, like I can't help but smile that what you've chosen to use your life for and to do with your own story is something really beautiful and powerful for how it's affected the people in the world around you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Feel free to jump in, or if you think of them afterwards, because that's usually what happens to me, send them our way. Send us a text or an email. We're happy to get you those answers and to communicate directly with Francesca and be that bridge to help continue to build that relationship for you.
I did have a question. I'm sorry I've been in and out, but just one general question: if there's any way we could specifically be praying for you and for the people you're taking care of and the girls generally, but anything specific.
Francesca, I think that's directed to you. Is there any way they can specifically be praying for you and the girls and the children that you are taking care of?
Thank you. I couldn't hear. It was covered. I couldn't hear. I'm grateful. Thank you.
So how can they be specifically praying for you?
Yeah. I think, well, we want you to pray for us. And because we really, we really need more support to help this situation. And the situation we are in now, we have a number of people we're turning away because we cannot manage to help that condition, their situations, even if they have difficulties. Also pray for us that a lot of you have change to change the community perspectives and thinking towards our girls' empowerment, our change to be able to also have enough funding to help even the children whom we are identifying, especially the disabled who are, on our list, but we can't be able to support them from one way or another. And despite that, we have needs. We really need for the community to be able to understand, to be a prayerful community, to be a prayerful parents, to pray for their children, be able to have the change that the young children want. Yeah, we need all these kind of prayers to be strong. And I personally, I need a lot of prayer to continue being strong and having the heart that I used to have to be able to support these people and to have children, people who will come out to also help with this kind of ministry. We really need a lot of prayers for this ministry that it's not easy. It's not easy. So pray for us. Continue well. Naomi, I need your prayers and all of you. And thank you for all the support. Your funds are going to the right place.
We will be praying for you. It's been a privilege to get to know you, to know of you and the heart that you have. As you said, prayer to continue the heart that you have and have had. And Rachel and I have talked before, like definitely one of the first impressions we had from you, just this enormous smile of joy. And then that is what I think of when I think of you. And yet in my prayers for you, that is what I think of, in the sense of like how difficult it must be to still hold on to joy in the midst of very difficult circumstances and when you are witnessing such pain. That's not easy. And I think it's a choice. It must be a choice to do that, as well as just your belief in who you believe God to be and the essential worth he's given to the children and the girls around you. And I just want to thank you for living that out in the way that you do. I think there must be particular challenge, going back to what Stuart was asking, when you are working within a community that sees itself as a Christian community of believers, and yet you have this understanding of what essential worth means in God's eyes that is different from what the assumptions are, but they believe that they have known and that they do believe in God and they do believe in Jesus. That's different actually than even entering a new space where you're trying to communicate those ideas. Having to shift that mindset is a unique challenge. And I think you living that out has, I'm sure, been such a powerful witness for that in and of itself. It's the words, it's the argument, but it's the human being that's living it out differently and helping people to see it in a new way. So we appreciate you so much. Just really, I'll try to make this really quickly to close it out. But as you were talking, I don't know if any of you have watched that show, The Chosen. But there's one scene, and if you can go and look up the scene today, because when I watched the scene before I watched the show, somebody had mentioned to me, but there's a conversation in this series, Francesca, it's an imagined conversation that's been written into this story between Jesus and one of his disciples, little James, who has a physical disability. And little James approaches Jesus with this vulnerability and emotion and says, like, why have I not been healed? You have the power to heal. I see you healing these other people. You've given me even powers to heal, but I still have to carry this disability. And it's such a powerful dialogue that you should watch. I won't relay the whole thing, but one of Jesus, part of his answer is in the faith that is required to believe even when the healing is not there. in the immediate form that we wish it was, and the different calling that is to be a testimony to him. But the scene, I will tell you this, because the scene ends with him saying, he says in Little James, it's not a question of if, the healing will come. It's just a matter of time. And I've thought of that throughout this conversation with you, and that what you are working towards is to help people to find that touch of healing in this existence and in this life. But your belief exceeds that, that the essential worth and the value for these children and these girls is there, whether the miracle of healing comes, whether the limb is completely fused together in the way that we might want it to be, and whatever limp somebody might have to walk with in this life, the essential worth is there. And then that's truly what you're living out. So thank you for what you do. It's such a privilege to be on this, to be able to be in the background and supporting the work that you do. Thank you for all of our partners for making this possible, because it's through you that this work is possible. And I know Francesca has echoed that too. Namelok is a true grassroots organization, and one of the ones that has been able to continue some of the work that they're doing because of you as partners. So thank you for that, and thank you for joining, and our gratitude and love to all of you. Go get some sleep, Francesca. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you very much. I
Don't forget-
appreciate yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Naomi.
you. Thank you. We'll
Thank
talk.
you, all of you, Jennifer. Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, partners. We also pray for you. We know what you are, the difficulties you are undergoing in trying to support our organizations. But we really appreciate, if we didn't have you, I don't know what we would have done. Even the children and the girls would never have got this opportunity. But we pray to God that may God give you strength, may God give you that love, that heart. We really appreciate what you are doing. I appreciate a lot. And our kids, we have a forum that always pray. They say, God help that ladder, God help, your team. They're always there. So we say thank you for what you are doing. It's not an easy thing, but because you know us, you have come to our support and rescue. You have really come to the ground to see that we're not just asking. And the support goes direct to the children. We'll continue with struggling. We'll continue to make these children happy, and they are happy indeed. God, we have seen them through you. And we say thank you so much. Thank you very much. Thank you for this conversation. We ask our partners, your partners and our partners, continue supporting you, that you can support more children. Your work is really very important to these vulnerable communities. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.